Hey everyone, I'm Connor.
And I'm Matt.
And this is Discography Draft. Will you run out? Keep going, keep going. There it is.
Gosh, there it is.
Second timer, huh?
Still hits like a first.
Okay. If this is your first time tuning in, Discography Draft, Matt and I discuss the albums and artists that have really had a lasting impact on us, and we put two albums from a particular artist head to head against each other. We discuss them, which one's better, and then we throw all the songs from those two albums into a draft pool, and then we each draft 10 songs from that pool. So, hey Matt.
Hey, Connor.
If memory serves, on our inaugural episode of Discography Draft, we did the Carter 3 and the Carter 4 by Lil Wayne.
The GOAT.
Sure. And we drafted, and I was very convinced I won this. And you were more humble.
You could say that.
Following a Brett Allen sermon.
Yeah.
Shout out Brett Allen if you're listening, and we know that you are. So we posted a poll on Instagram. By the way, if you want to follow us, at Corner Time Network on Instagram is where we'll be posting all the polls, and we post those right after we're done taping this show. So here's a little inside baseball for you. Is we, at the moment, tape this Monday nights, so be on the lookout for said poll Monday nights. And shout out Instagram, it only lasts for 24 hours, so you better vote during that time, and then we'll post the episode afterwards. So we drafted, posted our respective rosters on Instagram, put a little poll out, and as fate would have it, we tied.
Dumb.
If you know, you know. And not even like, oh, it's like 50%, 50% with some like margin of error where it's like, oh, there's thousands of votes and it was just like off by like a couple, but overall it rounds out to 50. No, it was like exact same number of votes, which is insanity. What are your thoughts on that?
I will say the pick that I liked of yours the most was Tie My Hands.
Did it grow on you? Have you listened to it since?
It has grown tremendously on me. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tie My Hands, a lot slower pace, and I'm so disappointed in myself that I missed that song. And the briefing, or I guess what is it?
The combine?
Yeah. As I was preparing for it, and yeah, I would have moved that up a little higher on the draft board.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was very convinced I won, because I'm looking at my roster and I had A Milli, Lollipop, How to Love, John, Mrs. Officer, and I'm thinking, I'm like, these were all just the gangbuster songs that from these two albums, and lo and behold, we tied, which has humbled me. But this is Discography Draft. That's how it goes. But I'll tell you this. Robin Thicke on Lil Wayne songs doesn't miss. You got Tie My Hands, Shooter. If there's another one, I'm sure he's good on it.
If not, then he's fantastic.
Yeah. But I actually, when you drafted It's Good, I was convinced I was the only person in the world who even knew of that song, which is funny because it's on a very popular album. And I was like, dang it, he took that. I was going to try and get it last, but you got it, and that bummed me out.
Honestly, it's one of my favorites on the Carter 4, and it just is like same way as you, is like, oh, this is probably going to get slipped to the bottom, because it is like star-studded albums. So I was hoping to take that near the end, and I was able to. But yeah, I don't know why it's not a popular song compared to the other ones.
I don't know. Sample's awesome, beat's awesome.
Features are awesome.
Yeah, Jadakiss is great.
Drake's mediocre. No, he's good.
Hey, what a segue. Because since we last recorded, there have been a couple albums released that are of note. Hey, by the way, before we get into that, we are proud to be sort of sponsored by Propel. Gatorade. Shout out to Gatorade. This is the drink of champions. I'll put you on to something real quick. Propel. Here you go. Hey, Propel, send us something. These little guys right here. Okay, so in each box of those, there's 10 little packets that you pour into like a thing of water. You shake it up, and you got a Propel drink. Mm-hmm. You can get a 10-pack of 10 of those on Amazon for like $25.
You're losing money.
You are losing money if you don't get it that way. Forget the bottles. Forget everything else. This is where it's at. Hey, Propel, we're here. Where are you?
It is the best drink out there, I'll have to say, hands down. And that's one thing I can relate to you in. Better than Gatorade. Gatorade's a little sugary, but not saying that it's not good. Powerade's the same way as Gatorade. OG flavor is the best in each, but I'm telling you, Propel never
calories.
misses.
Just goes down smooth. Speaking of smooth, we received 2 albums over the past couple weeks. One of them being Kanye West's Donda, and the other being Drake's Certified Lover Boy. I'm assuming you had a chance to listen to both. And
yeah.
What are your initial thoughts? We're not gonna. By the way, this episode isn't about these 2 albums, just of note. But we're gonna a little brief discussion. What do you think about them?
Yeah, I like Donda. It's interesting with Kanye's new transition to this like gospel rapper. I love it. I think that it's cool that the Lord can use just really broken people and people who have a broken past, and he's able to use this and put them on a stage and point people upwards. But I thought this was one of his better ones that he has done of recent, and kind of finding his way. Certified Lover Boy. I don't know if you know the backstory with it. He's got the pregnant girl emojis on, and
I'm not familiar with the backstory.
So it was apparently supposed to come out in January. Didn't. Waited 9 months, which is how long it takes for a pregnancy. Comes out on Labor Day, which is today. Labor Day, as in a girl, like a woman goes into labor. True. I'm just saying. It's not me. It's Drake. But Drake's, he hit with the Way Too Sexy. That sample's incredible. I'm too sexy for the shirt. Too sexy for the shirt.
Sexy, it hurts. Yeah, so you like Way Too Sexy. So for these 2 albums, which one did you like better?
Project Pata. No, I'd probably say Kanye's, because I feel like he's finally has found his sound with this new way he's like, this new avenue he's kind of taken. I feel like he's finally found the sound. Not saying he hasn't had some good songs in the past or features, but with this like new gospel wave. Mm-hmm. But I do think that he's finally found it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Donda just blew Certified Lover Boy out of the water. I'll tell you this. Normally when I listen to albums, it will take me 2 or 3 listens through before I get a good sense of like, all right, what's good on this album. Certified Lover Boy, I listened through it one time. That's enough. I'm out. There are 2 songs.
Certified done.
Yeah, I'm certified done with this album. There are 2 songs that I put on my Spotify library, and that's Way Too Sexy and Knife Talk. The rest of it can take a walk.
And why do you have Knife Talk on there?
Well, because it's got Project Pata.
Just so ahead of his time. The man can literally,
Savage.
he can take any word and rhyme it with anything.
I know. And
give us a few examples.
He can rhyme Project Peta, Big Booty Clapper,
TV Talker.
Yeah. I walked out to the mail boxer and took out a letter. Actually, kind of
so ahead of his time.
I know. The ingenuity on Project Pat. Shout out Memphis.
Yeah, 901.
All right, well, that's enough about those 2 albums. But we brought up Kanye because today's episode we're doing Kanye West, Graduation, and 808s and Heartbreak. Okay, so Graduation. This was released September 11th, 2007. Never forget. Also, I remember that date exactly because A, September 11th, never forget, and B, because that was the exact same day that 50 Cent's Curtis album came out, and I remember there being like this whole like arms race between these two albums of like which one's going to do better, and as it turns out, that feud ended up like propelling the sales for both albums, and they both did well because of it. So kind of a smart play on their part.
Yeah, I was looking at Graduation, and it is pretty incredible. Like, there's not a bad song on that album, top to bottom. I think there's maybe two that are like, but still, like, not bad at all. That is a complete album, top to bottom. That is truly one of the best ones. And the artwork, we got to talk about artwork at some point. Yes, that is one of the coldest album covers out there.
It's pretty good. It's that was the final album of the college trilogy of Kanye. The album artwork is really good. I'm still not even quite sure, like, okay, so he's being shot out of something. There's like an eyeball. I don't know what it is. 14 years later, I still don't quite know what he's being shot out of. I see the little pillars at the top, and surely that means some sort of university, and the graduation caps, I get that, but I don't know. Well, to be fair, I also haven't looked into it, and I'm sure the answer is online somewhere. And Kanye's got a brilliant mind for this kind of stuff, so not that he came up with it, but Takashi Murakami, shout out to him because he's the one who did the artwork. So let's do a little background on this. Okay, so sold over 957,000 copies in its first week.
Sheesh.
It has since sold over 5 million copies in the United States and has been certified quintuple platinum. That's a lot. That's 5 million copies. There were 5 singles that came off of the album. Can't Tell Me Nothing, Stronger, Good Life, Flashing Lights, Homecoming. This entire album was recorded from 05 to 07. And let's see. Okay, here's something I like to do.
Do it.
Critical reception. So Metacritic scores albums out of 100. What do you think Graduation received?
If it's below a 90, I don't want it.
You're not going to want this. You got 79.
That's bull. Dumb.
Dumb. That's a C, but C's get degrees. Graduation.
Ooh, full circle there.
There you go. Okay, so Graduation was met with widely positive reviews. Let's see. Reviewing for Spin in November 07, Charles Aaron hailed Graduation as mesmerizing and alienating, like all the purest forms of pop culture, with music in the tradition of Puff Daddy's late 1990s pop rap, but more skilled. Quote, its music is a rush of designer adrenaline, its personality insatiable self-justification, it's the paradigm you love to hate.
Say that 5 times fast.
Its music is a rush of designer. Okay.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah. So where were you at in your life? September 11, 2007, this album was released. Where were you?
7th grade, fall. Again, I didn't listen to much rap in middle school because of just had to get it cleared by
Judge
parents.
Slick.
Yeah, the judge, and all about the clean music. But I do remember a lot of these songs being on highlight tapes. Shout out to Carlton Anderson, CJ's dad. He did one of our highlight tapes for our football team and put one of the song or 2 songs on from Graduation on it. And yeah, that's kind of most of what I remember from it. I feel like when it really started to remember listen to it was high school. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so September 11th, 2007, I just started sophomore year of high school. Yeah, so '07. I remember. So what I fail to remember, "Can't Tell Me Nothing" being the first single off this album, released May 15th, 2007, while I was a freshman. For some reason, when I think of Graduation, I immediately go to Stronger as being the first single, and that's not true. It was Stronger was July 31st, 2007, so 2.5 months after Can't Tell Me Nothing. But I remember Stronger, just like you couldn't get away from it, and I didn't want to. It was really good. Daft Punk, shout out Daft Punk if you're listening. We know you are, but also rest in peace, Daft Punk, because they broke up. So that's where I was at in my life. I mean, was listening to this. I distinctly remember the arms race between Graduation and Curtis coming out, and I was sitting there waiting. This is in the height of iTunes, when albums would drop on iTunes, and then I'm getting them both, and I'm like, okay, let me listen to these. And gotta tell you, Graduation, much like Donda, blew the competition out of the water.
Certified.
Don't come after me, 50 Cent. Please don't. Okay, so 808s and Heartbreak. A sad boy classic.
Yeah.
Okay. This was released November 24th, 2008. It was recorded September through October of 2008.
Yeah, I mean, this is less than about a year after Graduation. I feel like you don't get back-to-back years with albums like that, especially great albums. So yeah, I mean, this is peak Kanye.
Yep. So there were 4 singles from 808s and Heartbreak: Love Lockdown, Heartless, Amazing, Paranoid. Love Lockdown was released September 18th, 2008, so 1 year and a week after Graduation was released. And so let's see here. It sold just over 450,000 copies in its first week. Let's see here. It had sold 1.7 million copies in the United States by 2013, certified triple platinum in 2020. So I'm assuming that means it sold 3 million to date. Okay, critical reception. What do you think Metacritic gave it?
If that one was 79, we'll go 61.
75.
Wow, not that far off.
Yeah.
From Graduation.
Right. Yeah. Chris Richards of the Washington Post called the album, quote, an information age masterpiece. USA Today critic Steve Jones said, West deftly uses the 808 drum machine and auto-tune vocal effect to channel his feelings of hurt, anger, and doubt through his well-crafted lyrics. Don't we all?
Well, I would hope he'd use 808s on an 808s and Heartbreak
album. It would be a misnomer if he didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so November 24th, 2008, where were you at in your life?
8th grade, top dog, middle school, just cutting it like that.
I don't know what this just cutting it means.
Just doing middle school things.
Okay. Now we're talking.
Yeah, I remember Amazing came out, and that was one of the few my dad cleared as the clean, and that was bumped before every single sports game I think I played. That was the hype song. You're like in the locker room or on the way in your parents' minivan or whatever y'all are in. Just so amazing. Amazing.
So for me, okay, this album is, I'm not exaggerating this, is my number 2 favorite album of all time. Number 1 being S&M by Metallica and the San Francisco Symphony. Shout out Metallica if you're listening. We know you are. This album, okay, November 24, 2008, I was a junior in high school. I had literally just gotten my car. And also, 13 days before this, on Veterans Day 2008, my lifelong cat passed away. And I'll tell you what, shook me to my core. Reason being is, here we go. We're getting into real sad boy
This
stuff
is
here.
Sad Boy Sessions.
This is honestly the pinnacle of sad boy albums. So my cat, we had him since I was like 2 years old. Just held on like a trooper. Best cat of all time. Don't at me. Were you gonna at me right there?
Well, I was just gonna ask, is Bobo number 2 like a close second?
Well, I never owned Bobo, but I imagine he was just a delight.
Okay.
If
How
you know,
loved
you know.
and how loved and cared for he was.
How loved and cared for around Baldwin Park he was. They were in mourning for months. So okay, we had just put my cat to sleep, and I knew it was coming because he was like, he started to not eat, and that's like the telltale sign. And he was like chubby. This boy ate.
Garfield?
No, actually, my cat's name was Sarah.
Oh.
And it was a boy. But apparently it was named Sarah because I guess my parents or the doctor, the cat doctor, whatever, couldn't locate the penis. And it also had a very effeminate meow.
Mm.
And so they were like, all right, we'll call it Sarah. Later found the penis.
Mm.
And then we're like, well, we're going to stick with Sarah. Okay, so shout out to Sarah. And I remember to a T, I went to school one day, Veterans Day, 2008, didn't have it off, even though it was Veterans Day. Unbelievable. I remember Sarah was on my bed, and I looked back at him, and he was looking at me, and then I walked away and I went to school, and I came back, and my grandma was like, we took Sarah to the doctor and put him down. And I was like, how dare you? It was like, ooh, because I kind of knew it was coming. It was a matter of time, but to have it sprung on you like that really hurt. To not properly
notice.
Be able to say goodbye.
Yeah, I know. Not even a notice of like, hey, this is probably the last time you'll see Sarah. You may want to say your goodbyes.
Yeah. So that happened. I got my car. 808s and Heartbreak came out, and I was in a mood. And this was all I was listening to. And it was cold because late November in Sarasota, Florida. I don't know about Memphis, but it's cold.
It's cold.
I mean, we're talking like 62 degrees. Driving to school in the dark, just lost my cat, got a car, and Kanye's in my ear. Put it in my ear, baby.
Just landed in your ear.
Just, yeah, it landed real good. So that's my story.
Wow.
That's my testimony, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. So.
Oh, I do want to note, too, just a quick little thing. Heartless, coldest music video out there ever. Maybe not ever, but that's a top 5. And don't at me. That is a cold music video.
Am I blanking on the music video right now?
It's like the cartoon. We should look at it later.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. But okay, we'll do that.
Continue.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the draft, shall we?
Yeah. You picking?
Well, here we go. So again, if you haven't tuned in, we're putting all these songs into a pool. We're going to draft 10 of them, and how we draft is not based on what our favorite songs are, because my favorite song could be some obscure song from 808s and Heartbreak, but I'm not going to take that number one because I'm trying to craft the best overall playlist that you guys who are going to be voting on it would appreciate and that the average listener would appreciate. So in our eyes for this, you have to start with like the bangers first, and then you kind of get into the weeds of it. So we're going to flip a coin online. Here, let me. Okay, so since we tied, how about if the loser from the prior episode will henceforth flip the coin moving forward? Since we tied and you flipped it on the first episode, you still flip.
Okay.
Okay, so call it in the air.
Tails never fails again. Except for when it's heads, yeah. Except for when it's heads. That's the only time it fails.
Hey, so over
2.
I'm not even kidding you. I was going on walks over the past couple of weeks, and I was legitimately thinking about how I want to play this. If I won this coin toss, do I want the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick? And by the way, we do a snake draft. So let's say I want the first pick, which I'm not saying I do. If I want the first pick, I get 1. Matt gets 2 and 3. I get 4 and 5, and so on and so forth. So I came to the conclusion that there are 7 unequivocal top 7 songs. You may disagree. In my mind, there's 7, and that's it. And then the rest are in a tier below that. So I will be taking the number 2 pick because that allows me to get 4 of the top 7 picks and maximize what I believe are the top tier. And I also think that we might have different number 1s.
Well, yeah, I can't not pick this one. This one is
so let the record show Matt is on the clock.
Yeah, I am. And I'll say this. I'm going to go with Heartless. And the reason is that I think the other number 1 pick is stronger. That's just me. I'm going to play a little preference of in terms of replay value, I like Heartless a little better. So yeah, I'm a little biased there. But I know stronger should be that. Which you're taking.
With the number 1 pick, I'm going to be taking... I'm sorry. My number 1 pick.
Yeah.
With the number 2 pick, I'm taking Flashing Lights.
Wow. Okay.
Which I think has grown... We'll get into this. I think has grown a lot more traction over time. Mm-hmm. With the number 3 overall pick... I'll take Stronger.
Okay. I was like, that can't make it out. That cannot make it out of the.
This would be the lollipop.
Yeah,
of this draft.
It's not allowed to make it out of that top 3.
Right.
All right. Well, in that case, I think my next 2 picks, I'm gonna go Homecoming and Can't Tell Me Nothing.
Okay, hang on. Okay, so, gosh, I love Homecoming. I feel like I loved Homecoming before anyone loved Homecoming. This is kind of going... I figured, by the way, that the order of the top 7 would probably vary.
Yeah, we've talked about this before too. I think there's so many in terms of that are very equal.
Yes. That being said, so that was your number 4 and 5. Okay, with the 6th pick, I will be taking Love Lockdown.
Yep, that's an excellent draft board.
And with the 7th pick, I'm taking Good Life.
Those were literally my next 2 on the draft board.
Here we go. As I said, top 7.
Well, yeah. So we technically had the same exact top 7.
Which I figured, because in my mind I was like, I don't see how it's not these top 7. Order may vary, but I'm convinced. I'm fine with, so long as I get 4 of these top 7. I frankly don't care which ones.
Yeah. No, I feel that. Ooh.
Okay, 8th pick.
Man, the thing is, I'm lots of favorites now. I think are getting into it, where it's do I just go ahead and grab my favorites, or do like I still stick with the popular? And that's the hard piece of this too.
Yeah.
And I'm so sad because I have no idea. But I'm gonna take Amazing.
All right. That was the 8th pick.
And I think I'm gonna take. Oh, do I hate myself after this? See You in My Nightmares.
Oh, shout out to Nate. Amazing. I feel like gained a lot of traction with whatever 2K game it was
Yes.
on. It was like the starting song every time you logged in is is amazing. Okay, so that was the 8th and 9th pick. All right, with the 10th pick, I'm taking what I listened to on repeat all junior year, and I think the most slept on song out of these two albums, Welcome to Heartbreak.
Great pick.
Featuring Kid Cudi. Before he was really Kid Cudi. At that point, he came out with A Kid Named Cudi, and I think Day and Night had come out, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a great pick. I think honestly there's still like in these next 5 or so picks, like it's still like a matter of which order.
Yes.
There's top tier, tier 2, tier 3.
I kind of agree with that, yeah. Okay, so that was the 10th pick. With the 11th pick, I will be taking Coldest Winter, which has since been covered by Pentatonics.
Really?
Yeah, and they actually do a darn good job.
Wow. Okay.
12th pick.
12th pick, I'm going to go Drunken Hot Girls.
Dang it.
That one was the one I was afraid you may take. And then I'm going to go with I Wonder from Graduation.
Okay. Okay, so that was the 12th and 13th pick. So the 14th pick, I will be taking Streetlights. Also, painfully slept on. This is a sad boy song.
Yes, and I want to say, I was like, how far can I let it go? How far can I let it go? And like just grab it, but
this song,
that makes
when you
me
listen to
so
it,
sad.
And you're just, I mean, honestly, really makes you contemplate your existence.
Dude, it is a phenomenal song.
Yep. Okay, so that was the 14th pick. The 15th pick, I will be taking Everything I Am.
That to me is like, that and I Wonder are very like similar. I like listen to them interchangeably.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think my next pick, I'm gonna go RoboCop.
Yeah, that was mine.
It's so good.
Shout out to Nate.
This one is interchangeable, I feel like. Ooh. Good Morning or Champion? We'll go Good Morning.
Oh. Okay. So I've lost track of what pick. This is the 17th pick or 18th pick.
Hold on, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, because I do
7,
18, 19,
9,
you do 20.
yeah.
Okay. 18th pick, I want Paranoid.
Okay.
And then with the 19th pick and my final pick, I'm taking Champion.
Good call.
Which bums me out for what the next song I would have taken, which I hope you take.
Man, honestly, I do love The Glory. Barry Bonds is probably... We'll just take Barry Bonds just as the last piece. But, yeah, we'll do Barry Bonds.
Okay. So, in conclusion, you can read yours off since you had the first pick.
Yeah, so in conclusion, I got Heartless, Homecoming, Can't Tell Me Nothing, Amazing, Drunken Hot Girls, See You in My Nightmares, I Wonder, Good Morning, RoboCop, and Barry Bonds.
I had Flashing Lights, Stronger, Love Lockdown, Good Life, Welcome to Heartbreak, Coldest Winter, Street Lights, Everything I Am, Paranoid, and Champion. So I had 5 songs from 808s and 5 from Graduation. How about that?
Yeah, so 1, 2,
So I will say this.
6, 4.
Okay. The next song I would have taken, and had you taken Champion, I would have taken this, because I had Champion at 17 and I had Say You Will at 18, which I will say, when first listening to it, because it's like 8 minutes long and about 4 minutes, maybe longer than that, is just like an instrumental at the end. But it has since grown on me so much that I freaking love this song, including the long instrumental where it's just basically like a heartbeat.
I'm glad you like that song. That's one I was listening to, but I was like, man, I don't know how many people are going to like this. And I'm glad you like that song too. And it's got such a unique like instrumental to it with the like xylophone feel and like or the I don't even know what it is, but
and it also, so it's the first song on 808s and Heartbreak, and it kind of like brings you in with like a and then it just goes dum dum ch. Why would she make Calls Out the Blue? And I'm like, oh, there we go. It really sets the tone for the whole album. And now it's just got me listening to it, and I'm like, yeah, why would she make Calls Out the Blue?
Yeah, well, why can't it be out the green?
All right. So there were 2 songs you drafted. You drafted Barry Bonds, and what was some other one that you had at the very end?
RoboCop, Good Morning.
Good Morning. I didn't have those on my top 20.
The RoboCop?
No, I did. I did not have Good Morning or Barry Bonds in my top 20. I think I had Barry Bonds as like my second to last.
Yeah, I don't think Coldest Winter and Paranoid were on mine. And I think those were the main 2.
Homecoming was interesting because I think that's my favorite song on Graduation, and it's certainly the one that that I listened to the most when the album first came out. But it was hard because it was like the final single off the album, and I feel like people didn't really know about it when this album was really popular. So I didn't know what to do with it in that respect, because for me, it might have been, I mean, if I was ranking this according to my favorite songs, it's the number 1 song from Graduation, but that's not how we're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so your top 7, what was your big board top 7?
Top 7 were the same exact as yours. Big board top 7. But in order was I had Heartless, Stronger, and then I had Homecoming, Can't Tell Me Nothing, then Flashing Lights, Good Life, and Love Lockdown. It was hard for me to like pick an order. I think the first 4 were probably like I felt more comfortable with, and then 5 through 7 I was like, I really don't know. Yeah, so we'll kind of see. I just kind of did it based on Spotify plays at that point.
Yeah, mine, I had number 1, Flashing Lights, Stronger, Heartless, Can't Tell Me Nothing, Love Lockdown, Good Life, and Homecoming. Can't Tell Me Nothing was tricky because it gained so much traction when The Hangover came out, and it became like a go-to road trip song for some reason. And so I feel like it, like on first listening through this album way back in the day, I probably would have had Can't Tell Me Nothing as like number 7 on my out of the top 7. But I think that people have grown to love it, so I had to kind of bring it up a little higher. And then Flashing Lights, at first thought, when I did the very initial big board, I had Stronger as number 1. I was like, oh yeah, well obviously it's Stronger. But then I got into it and I was like, you know what? When Flashing Lights became popular, and then there was like the music video, which was like kind of weird because he was in the trunk of a car, and I think that like for some reason, Flashing Lights, in my mind, took the top spot from Stronger. Not that I think it's better than Stronger, but I think that the public has come to believe that Flashing Lights is better than Stronger. I could be wrong, but that's what I came to believe, and that's why I put it as number one.
Yeah.
So so from these two albums, Graduation and 808s, how have these albums have they aged well since they first came out?
Yeah, I think that I like to describe, there are a few artists out there where I call them producers. They just know what sounds really good. They're good with the ad-libs. They're good at very unique beats. But something cool from both of these albums, I think, which makes them really unique, is Kanye also, he's not, like, you're either a lyricist or like a producer. And I think that you get a blend of both with that in here in Kanye, of like he's got really great lyrics, and as well as just really creative beats, which is crazy to me that, I feel like, I don't know if this was just like, 2005 to 2012, beats just aren't made like those anymore. They're so unique in how they were made, and it makes me a little sad that, I don't know, they're so creative. Yeah, I just miss that kind of artistry in it. But both have aged really well. I think 808s has grown more and more on me the more and more I listen to it. And Graduation, I still think, is like top to bottom. I'd say The Glory and Big Brother are like the two that are like that maybe are kind of on that, but still top to bottom. Like I think if an album has like 50 or 70% of its songs on there that you are like, that's a great album. That is a incredible album, and the fact that it has all of them, it's like, wow, that is truly one of the best albums in history, rap history, I think.
Yeah. So I think that, let's see. So 808s for me, I mean, it's hard to say it's aged better because it's
like it can only go to one.
It was already the GOAT when it came out, and it still is for me. But I think that 808s, in popular consensus, 808s has grown like across the board in everyone's minds, because it has, I feel like rap nowadays is what it is largely because of 808s, because of like the whole auto-tune effects, and that's like what everyone is doing now. Which T-Pain obviously preceded Kanye in that, but T-Pain was sort of singing to some degree, but
and
Kanye
it was a lot more like, I feel like it was a lot stronger. He did it in a more like deceived way,
And I think that if memory serves, when 808s came out, people were like, what's Kanye doing? Because it was like so different from anything that had been done, or really like not only that he had done, but that just rappers had done at that point. And so it was like, this album sucks. He's sad. I'm like, no. No, that's the point. But this also, I think this album is the first one to come out after his mom passed away. Is that right?
That may be right, yeah.
Shout out Donda.
The heartbeat.
Ryan
Donda,
Campbell
Donda.
has entered the chat.
Donda.
Hey, let me give you a quick Google. So yeah, Donda West, November 10th, 2007. So yes.
Literally the day after.
No. So she passed away after graduation, same year as graduation, but like 2 months later.
What was the day you said?
You're referring to my cat. It's November 11th, 2008.
November. Oh, okay.
A day that will live in infamy. So yes, I think that's what kind of spurred this whole change of sound, is because his mom had passed away, so he was going for a more like just a sadder sound, and he wanted to try something different. And also, like, he'd just come out with an album called Graduation, which was the third album of a like college series. So I think it was like a good time to also try something different. So that kind of worked out. Any closing thoughts on these two albums?
Honestly, both are very good. 808s has grown tremendously on me. Yes, Streetlights slept on.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly blows my mind at some of these, like, just the amount of Spotify plays for 808s. I was like, how do some of these songs, like...
Does it show what streetlights have?
Yeah, it was... okay, so here, if we want to look... You'll look at this.
Yeah.
So ranking between...
Oh, wait. Oh.
Oh, I knocked what am I doing?
Sorry, Propel. Send me stuff. Don't send Matt anything.
Oh,
It's disrespectful.
Negligent. So these are between these are all songs from both albums.
Okay.
And I organize it based on the Spotify plays. And let's see here.
So Stronger...
Streetlights was the 16th out of 25. But
40
see,
million.
Do you see how many... the bottom 5 are all 808s, and that makes no sense
Yeah,
to
that
me.
makes me sad. Well, Pinocchio's story I understand because it was like a live one, and it was kind of weird. I mean, Pinocchio's story has since grown on me. I think it's... I would have loved to have had a studio version of that, but we don't.
Mm-hmm.
But that's interesting. So I'm looking at it. Stronger was number 1 with like 876 million listens, and then number 2 was Heartless with 394 million. So
well above.
Which is crazy. And then Flashing Lights was 264 million. I just like, I don't know.
But to your point, the Flashing Lights coming big at the end.
Yeah. So okay. So let me ask you this. Let's say you're gonna go play basketball, and you're in the tunnel, and you're about to come out. Which do you want when your name is called? Do you want Stronger or Flashing Lights to be playing?
Just because it's a little faster paced, stronger, I probably listen to Flashing Lights a little more. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if you catch the right, it depends what part of the song you're catching.
Yeah,
and
because the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Flashing Lights, after a certain amount of time, is starting to talk about like a girl.
Yeah.
But if you catch it right at the very beginning of both songs, I would err on the side of Flashing Lights for me. Yeah. Okay, so something I asked you.
Also, yeah, trigger words. Did you see it's got the Nightmares?
There you go.
Nightmares. Welcome to Heartbreak is another one.
Coldest winter. This is what I'm saying. 808.
Those dark, cold words. Coldest winter. Pinocchio's story was very interesting one too.
I think the thing with this is like, I think Beyonce heard this song and was like, this song's good. But, I mean, it's the lowest out of all of them. Shout out Beyonce if you're listening. And by the way, we know you are. Okay, so out of all these songs, which do you think In a Vacuum is the best song title?
See You in My Nightmares.
Yeah. It's got to be that, or oh boy. Dude, Welcome to Heartbreak.
Yes, that was my number 2.
Yeah.
But also, probably my favorite song out of both of these, maybe behind Heartless, is Drunken Hot Girls.
I love that song, which I think was like back when this album came out, Drunken Hot Girls was like, and probably still to this day, I feel like no one is like, Drunken Hot Girls is fine. I think everyone's like, this song is awesome or the song sucks.
I know, which makes me sad. I think he's very creative in the song itself of like how he plays on the drunken hot girls. Like he gives like different scenarios with it too.
Yeah, I agree with that. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, so are you aware? I mean, you're from Memphis.
Yeah, guilty.
Okay. The greater Memphis area. Kyerville, shout out to the Dragons. Are you aware that campaign of the NBA 2021 finals runner-up Phoenix Suns played high school basketball in Memphis?
I think so. And yes, actually, yes. And I think he played at Lausanne, which is where
Los Angeles?
I mean, no, just Lausanne.
My bad.
Lynx is their nickname.
Oh, okay.
But Big Spain, who's now,
It was Marc Gasol
yeah, he's
of the Los Angeles Lakers when we last taped.
is gone now in Little Spain.
I mean, he's still alive. He's not.
Oh.
He's like gone.
Oh, I thought he was gone.
No, he's
Okay.
alive and well.
Well, thank goodness.
He is without a team. Fix that, NBA. This is the end.
Cut. Cut it out.